Hi guys! So I am back to tell you everything. I'm about to tell you everything that I know. I think you're tired of all of my college videos, but I still got maybe a few left before I do the rest when I actually move in. But we are here today to talk about how I applied to a Korean university. Yonsei University especially, and a little disclaimer to y'all, I have experienced the life of an international student in California in the United States, so I can only tell you my experience as a child of California, because I know some countries would do it differently and there are certain instructions that you have to follow for each country, and I only followed the guidelines of California and the United States. Back in January, the time periods for these applications are very long. I think for fall, the application period is from January to June. So it's like a very long time, but graduation approaches in May. Like, of course, I'd have to apply very early on to actually get in. And it's actually very short. Like the application process, there's a lot to go through, but if you think about it, there's just bam, 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 send. And that's about it. Then the decision process isn't really that long because technically I sent in my applications the first week of March, but then I got my decision like around the end of March. So it wasn't that long. It was about a month-long period. Yonsei is very quick, I can say that. And what I found interesting was they are very strict about authentication. So a lot of your documents have to be, in a sense, authenticated. So let me give you an example. When you get your transcripts from your school's registrar or whoever handles your transcripts, once you get that from your registrar, there's an officiate there with you. They're called notary officials. So they will witness that these documents, transcripts, will be printed here at the school. The registrar signed them and everything. And then what the notary does is that they sign it, the registrar signs it, and then the notary stamps the documents. So with that stamp, you'll be sending these documents off to the Secretary of State. And then the Secretary of State will put a red seal on the documents with another document stating that anybody outside of the US, part of the apostille convention or whatever those words are, there's a certain convention where that red stamp, it's official, and then countries outside of the US will take it as authenticated. They are the real documents, they are the real deal. There's a lot of documents you have to get authenticated, and there's a lot of money in this application too. Don't know how to really break this down because it's really simple. All you do is send in your online application and then you send in your materials through mail. That's about it. I don't really know how to start this, but it's a long while. You're gonna have to talk to a lot of people, and there's a lot of financial things you have to worry about because notaries are expensive. Getting your documents to the Secretary of State are expensive. The application itself online is expensive. So you have to be super dedicated to get your application in. You have to really persevere through all of the obstacles that this arrangement will get you through. I wish you good luck if you are applying. There's a lot you are putting into this application. Let me go through the application process with you. There's a lot of instructions online, but there's instructions pertaining to different things. Like Yonsei's website, their international admissions website, only has instructions for like your online application, how to get this information, how to get that information, but actually trying to put it all together, that was a real doozy to do from the very beginning. I think I did my online application last because when you finish your online application, you get a printout of your completed application form, and that's what you send in. And with the stack of other materials you'll be sending in. So it's not one document that you'd have to worry about since it's all online anyway, but if you want to complete it first, I recommend you to complete it first so then you have like one list that you're done with, because the application materials that you'll need to send in the mail is much more harder after that. So the online application, there are instructions on Yonsei's International Admissions Team website, which you will find online. So usually I go on to Yonsei's official website. If you go on to their admissions, and so when you're at admissions, you press apply, then undergraduate. And then they'll show you the different colleges that there are. So you could apply to different kinds of colleges. Like say I want to apply to the Global Leadership Division. And then they'll have a description of what they are and then what kind of features that are within this program. And then within it are like different majors you could apply for. And usually like the Global Leadership Division or the Underwood International College, they're pertaining to international students. But I went like all in with the colleges. So I will take you to what I went through. The colleges page. You'll go down to undergraduate admissions. You could do transfer admissions if you're transferring, or if you want to do the scholarship program. So if you hit their undergraduate admissions, you'll find like the whole date section. So like the online application will take from this date to that day, when you have to send in your materials from this date to that day, and then your acceptance notification from this date to that date. You have certain time periods that you could work within when you're sending in your application. So you have some leeway right here. You have very long dates you have to work for, but then again, you have to do it early so they could get your application early. So you can't send your personal statement online. Those are your essays. So what you have to do is you handwrite all of your essays. My hand cramped so much, it was insane. But what I did was I wrote it online first, so I had an idea of what I was working with and if I could change it, so then I wouldn't have to waste paper so much. You get a box within the application. When you get your personal statement papers, there's boxes and you fill those boxes. I don't really know if you had to fill up the whole box. I filled up the whole box. Maybe it was my handwriting, maybe it was my words, but I did fill up the whole box. And for each question, there are different sized boxes. Starting 2019, incoming foreign Yonsei University students will belong to the Global Basic Education Division under the Global Leaders College for a year, which will teach you the basics and some GEs, and will teach you basic Korean to get you by through the whole college experience. So you just take a year of that, and then the next 3 years are pertaining to your major. So you'll see that you have the online application, the manual of the online application. So technically I don't have to teach you how to do the online application. You could just learn from that. And it's a whole bunch of slides you could just read through, and it's actually pretty easy. It's easier than you think. And then you click on the application guide and documents for international students, and those are your application materials that you have to send in through mail. Online application, things you have to worry about is if you're in financial struggle, you have to put like income and stuff like that, and then how much you could have your tuition reduced, and that's like a different form you have to fill out, which I will explain to you later because I filled that out. Another part of that online application, you have to send in a digital photo. You know those passport photos you see in those dramas? You have to send one of those in, and I looked ugly. I don't know if you should see this, but ta-da! I looked insanely ugly. It's like a white background. I don't know. There are instructions on how you had to look. Then I think the online application has a cropping tool because the photos have to be like super small. My picture just looked ridiculous. That is my application. So you get your application number through your online application. Your application number will be on most of your documents that you will be sending in. Let's go on to the application documents list. Okay, so the attachments is your personal statement, which are your essays. Your recommendation letter, you have to have one letter of rec. Sadly, they have to handwrite it too. What I did, I think I had her handwrite the letter of rec because like the personal statements, they have boxes to fill and they have a whole designated paper for them. And what I did is I think I attached the actual letter of rec, but I didn't get it authenticated, so I don't know if it really counted. So next is your record check. You'll be talking to your counselor about that. So what you do is you fill out your typical student information, and then your counselor will check it over and see if it's all correct, and then she or he will fill out the rest of it, and then you'll be sending that document too. Those are handwritten too. Financial difficulty, like I said, you'll be filling in a box. It's like an essay to fill out, like what are your financial struggles and everything like that, how much tuition you would like reduced for the year. Okay, so the online application is 150,000 won. When I did the conversion at the time, it was about $130. When you get your documents with a notary official present, you pay for their services too. Different notaries are different prices. So some documents I went to UPS because they had notary officials over there. But then I had a local notary come over to my school to witness my registrar. And then when you're sending off to the Secretary of State, you could either mail your documents, you could come in, but I think it's a little bit more money. Open the application guidelines, which will have everything you'll need. You just have to read through it. Read carefully. Please do read carefully. I missed some things because I didn't read carefully, and it costed me some extra money and it costed me some extra time. So please read carefully. Okay, when you're going down, it gives you all a list about the colleges. I'm gonna only take you to the application materials because when you're reading through these guidelines, this is for you. So please read it. Please read it all. So here are the application materials. Let's go through it one by one. Your completed application form was your online form, and then when you're done, they have a PDF of your application form. So you print that out, and then you'll be sending that with the rest of your materials. Your personal statement, your essays, and then recommendation letter. You have to wait for your person to give that to you, and then your diploma or certificate of expected graduation. So let me tell you, I haven't graduated. I still haven't graduated. The US doesn't really have expected graduation certificates. So what I had my school registrar do is she wrote a letter saying that I was on track to graduation and I will be graduating on this date. And then the notary came to see her sign that letter. So then that document had to be authenticated too. Certificate proving Korean language proficiency. So this is optional, but you could test out of taking Korean, because if you're very proficient in Korean, then you don't really need to take classes. And I knew that I wasn't that skilled. Being able to write like multiple essays or being able to speak in lectures, I wouldn't be able to do that. I think I'd freak out first. Documents verifying foreign nationality of applicant and her parents. That is a lot of documents because you have to get your passports and your identification cards. So me, my dad, and my mom got our passports and our driver's license authenticated. Now think about that. There's 3 of us and there's 2 documents each. 6 documents, for goodness sake. That's 6 documents I had to get authenticated by a notary. Good thing I went during their day off, so we went to UPS, so it was cheaper. And then getting it to the Secretary of State, they drove me downtown. Very grateful for them. Very expensive price I had to pay for all of those documents. Legal documents indicating the relationship between the applicant and her parents, that's usually your birth certificate. What I did is that I ordered a copy of my birth certificate from the California Public of Health and Safety, I think. I ordered from them, and then it's about like $50 for a official birth certificate. There's like 2 options of how you could order your birth certificate. You could do it just for viewing or for documentation purposes. For documentation purposes was what I was going for. The problem was I didn't think it'd come in time because it's all the way from California, and California has a lot of people in it and people who are born in it. I think 2 or 3 weeks after I ordered from my county office, because I didn't really process at the time I ordered from California that my county could come faster. So I think 2 or 3 weeks later I ordered from my county, and they both came at the same time anyway, so I spent like $100. And then mandatory documents for foreigners with Korean ethnicity. I am not of Korean ethnicity. Letter of consent and letter of request. That is the school asking permission to you to use your information and your documents like in their school. So you just sign that and be done with it. And financial difficulty scholarship application. Like I said, it's a different document. You have to fill in the essays and everything and send it in. I'm pretty sure I forgot something. After writing your essays, you have to give them documentation to prove that you're kind of like in a financial difficulty situation. And then supplementary documents, they are like anything you could send in which would help your application. So I sent in my SAT scores, I sent my nationwide educational scores. So I forgot what it's called, but it's like pertaining to the Common Core system. I'm pretty sure people in the States will know this test. I sent language certificates of classes that I've taken, because I've taken a lot of classes online. I didn't send any of my college documents because I felt that they wouldn't accept it. I sent, like, say I use the application Coursera. It's like a learning application. You could get certificates from them, and then you could use it on your LinkedIn profile, which is an online platform which you could talk to future employers and stuff like that. Yeah, I have certificates from different programs and stuff like that that I've taken. So I sent them all in, and I'm pretty sure I had to get them authenticated. But let me tell you how I know that they're very strict on authentication. I got an email about a week later after sending in my application, and Yonsei, their admissions department, asked me for my password and ID to my College Board account. And College Board is US's system to keep track of like your progress to get into college. So they keep your SAT scores, your AAP scores. They asked me for my password and ID to my College Board account to check if my SAT scores were my real SAT scores. And I was like, wow, how good are Koreans in Photoshop to Photoshop those kinds of documents? I wouldn't even know to Photoshop those kinds of documents. Wow. And how I knew it was real is that they had my application number. Okay, so I sent all those documents over. That is my experience applying to a Korean university at Yonsei University. I couldn't give you like a full-on tour of like the online application stuff, but you'll find it online itself. Like, email them if you have questions. If you have questions or concerns, I'm happy to help you, and I don't want you to struggle as much as I struggled too. So I will provide you with the information that I know, and the rest really has to be on your part. You have to look up what you need to know. I'm glad I got to sit down and explain everything to you. Maybe not everything, but I gave you a basic rundown of what I went through. Don't procrastinate, do it early. Get all your documents ready. Writing my essays was kind of different because I had to keep in mind that their educational system is very different from here. So I know in Korea and Asia that they focus a little more on education. So I tried to incorporate the best I can about my academics as a student, because my academics were above average, I say. At the same time, I tried to explain about my own life. I explained about YouTube. I explained about the extracurriculars that I do outside of school. This is probably going to be a short video, but let me tell you, I've been talking for about an hour already. Be sure to talk to a lot of people. Be sure to plan it all out. If you're applying to Korea, I wish you good luck. If you're applying abroad, I wish you good luck. If you're applying to colleges, I wish you good luck. Oh, well. Okay, so goodbye, guys. Bye.